Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. Today we're taking a fascinating deep dive, looking at how you can experience a city, maybe not just through the usual sights, but through something much more immediate. It's food.
Yeah, through its flavors. And specifically, we're zooming in on Chennai in India.
Exactly. And we've got some really interesting source material for this, uh, articles, reviews, all talking about a particular guided food street walk. It happens in Chennai's Sowcarpet area, which sounds incredibly lively.
It does. It seems like a really sort of ground level way to explore.
Right. So our mission today is to kind of unpack all that for you. Pull out the key details, maybe some surprising bits the sources mention, and, the practical stuff that makes this food walk distinctive.
The idea is for you to get a real feel for it, almost like you're there.
Yeah, a tangible sense of it. And you mentioned before we started, the sources keep calling it multi-sensorial.
They do. It suggests it's way more than just taste, doesn't it? It's hitting sight, sound, smell, maybe even touch, along with the flavors. So, yeah, expect descriptions that go beyond just, this tastes good.
Okay, so let's get into it. This Sowcarpet food street walk, what is it, basically?
Well, according to the sources, it's a guided walking tour, pretty straightforward, but the focus is entirely on street food.
Ah, okay.
And it's in this specific Sowcarpet area, which pops up again and again as the spot for street food in Chennai. The whole thing takes about 2 hours, typically.
2 hours. That sounds manageable. Like, enough to get a good taste, but not, exhausting.
Right. And the core idea seems simple but effective. Eat where the locals eat. It's framed as really experiencing Chennai through its street food in that multi-sensorial way we mentioned.
So what's the vibe? What's the environment actually like, based on what people wrote?
Oh, it sounds intense. Vivid descriptions. They talk about walking through frenetic streets,
Renette, okay.
navigating narrow alleys just brimming with food stalls, lots of colorful shops. It's definitely not presented as, like, a polished tourist trail. It sounds raw.
More authentic, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
Wow.
They even mention the Sowcarpet market itself, spices, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and use the phrase, assault your senses.
Wow. Assault your senses. That's strong language.
It is. It really gives you a feel for the sheer volume of input, the colors, the smells, from spices to flowers, the noise, the activity, everything happening at once.
Definitely paints a picture of being right in it, not just observing.
Okay, so if it's that intense and bustling, navigating it sounds like it might be tricky. Who helps you with that?
Right. That's where the guide is key. The sources call them a food evangelist, which I love.
A food evangelist. That's great.
Isn't it? Their job isn't just pointing things out, but really helping people experience the authentic local food, properly experience it.
So they're passionate about it, not just reading a script.
Mhm.
And the sources seem to really rate them highly. Oh, definitely. The reviews consistently say they're super knowledgeable about the area, the food, the stories behind the dishes. And crucially, they highlight how good they are at navigating those busy streets safely. That comes up a lot.
Safety must be a big concern there then.
Well, it seems like something participants really appreciate the guides handling. They mention the guides being really diligent, looking out for traffic, managing the group and crowds. Specific guides like Nishanth and Ganesh get named.
Ah, okay.
And people describe them as knowledgeable, yes, but also attentive, friendly, warm, good with the group dynamic. And one review even praised their expert dodging of tuk-tuks.
Expert tuk-tuk dodging. That's a practical skill right there. It probably makes the whole thing less stressful.
I bet. And they also mention guides sharing little personal stories like, bits about their own lives or how much they love a certain dish. It makes it feel less like a formal tour.
Yeah, more like you're exploring with a local friend who just happens to know everything. That sounds like a big part of the immersive side of things.
Totally. It adds that human connection. But okay, speaking of the main event, the food. What do you actually get to eat on this 2-hour adventure?
Right, the tasty part. And this is interesting because the sources say it's not just Chennai food, it's broader than that.
Oh, how so?
They make a point of saying the tour samples snacks and dishes from all across India. So you get this kind of mini tour of the subcontinent street food, but all within Sowcarpet.
That's clever. Makes it appealing even if you don't know South Indian food specifically. So what kind of things are on the list? What did the reviews mention?
Okay, first up, something called the Muruku sandwich. It gets specifically flagged as the unique dish of Sowcarpet.
Muruku sandwich. Muruku is that crunchy spiral snack, right? Made from rice flour.
That's the one. Crispy. So putting that in a sandwich sounds intriguing. Definitely unique. What else?
Then you've got some real classics. Podi idli, those little steamed rice cakes, but covered in that spicy pony powder.
Poti idli's so good.
Isn't it? Also samosas, obviously. Can't have street food without samosas. And bhaji, those savory fritters. Usually onion or potato or chili dipped in batter and fried.
Okay, savory fried goodness. Yes, please. What about chat? Any chat items?
Oh, yeah. Dahi puri and pani puri are both mentioned.
Ah, the classics.
Right. Dahi puri with yogurt and chutneys on top of the crispy shells. And pani puri. Well, you know pani puri, those little explosions of flavor you pop in your mouth. The sources really emphasize that whole experience.
Yeah, pani puri is almost interactive, isn't it? Filling the puri, the burst of tangy water.
Exactly. And reviewers just mention mouth-watering chats generally, too, so probably other variations depending on the day.
Makes sense. And wasn't there something specific about the lassi, the yogurt drink?
Yes, this is a great little detail. The sources say the lassi comes from a place run by a former wrestler.
No way. A wrestler making lassi.
Apparently so. It's one of those quirky local stories the guides share that just adds color, you know, makes the lassi stop more memorable.
Definitely adds local flavor, literally and figuratively. Okay, anything sweet to finish?
Jalebi is mentioned for dessert. Those bright orange, syrupy, deep-fried spirals. Delicious.
Jalebi.
The sources hint it might be from a famous spot like Kakata Ramprasad. And reviewers also threw in mentions of crispy dosas, those thin crepes.
Love a good dosa.
Starting the tour with spiced coffee, which sounds like a nice way to begin. And also sampling puris, the little fried breads.
Wow, that is a lot of food for 2 hours. Seriously. It's not just tasting, it's eating.
That's a really key point from the reviews. Everyone says you will be full, like properly full. The advice is always come hungry and pace yourself.
Good advice. No snacking beforehand then.
Definitely not. And practical tips also include some stuff can be quite spicy, so maybe have water with you. Or the lassi helps cool things down.
Right. Good call on the lassi. And with all those handheld items, the puris, samosas, bhajis, I'm guessing wet wipes would be a smart thing to bring.
Very smart suggestion, yeah. It's finger food central. But, like we hinted at, the sources stress this is about more than just eating.
Right. It's positioned as more than just a food tour. They call it an authentic experience, an immersive cultural experience, even a walk into the atmosphere of Chennai. It's about soaking up the place itself.
Exactly. You're not just hopping between food stalls in isolation. You're guided through this really vibrant, living part of the city. And part of that is discovering these local hidden gems.
Ah, the hidden spots you wouldn't find yourself.
Precisely. Little vendors tucked away, specific stalls known for one thing, stuff you'd likely walk right past otherwise. That seems like a big part of the value.
Absolutely. Especially in a place that sounds as dense and busy as Sowcarpet. You need someone to curate it for you.
Totally. And we mentioned safety, but it's worth circling back because it's such a strong theme in the feedback. People really seem to appreciate the guide's diligence in handling the traffic, the crowds.
Yeah, the tuk-tuk dodging.
Exactly. It lets you relax and just take it all in, the sights, the sounds, the smells, without stressing about getting run over or lost.
That peace of mind sounds pretty essential for actually enjoying it. And beyond food and safety, there's a cultural angle too.
There is. The guides apparently offer a warm welcome to South Indian culture. So they might talk about local customs, maybe a bit of history about Sowcarpet or the wider Georgetown area it sits in, point out interesting buildings you pass. It lifts it beyond just food.
Makes it feel more rounded, more connected to the place.
That's why immersive seems like the right word. It's the food, yes, but also the history, the culture, the buzz of the street today. And speaking of connection, the sources mention anything about the tour's local impact.
Oh, right. That was interesting. What did they say?
They highlight that the tour company seems quite conscious of the community. They apparently train and employ local young people as guides.
That's great.
And they deliberately patronize the local businesses, the food vendors, the shops along the way.
So the money you spend is actually staying in that neighborhood,
Yeah.
supporting the people who make it vibrant. That feels good.
It adds another layer, doesn't it? Makes it feel a bit more responsible, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, practical stuff for anyone listening who's now tempted. Availability.
The material we saw mentioned June 2025, so it seems to be running consistently.
Good to know. And pricing.
There's a tiered structure. It depends on your group size. So one price for 4 or more people, a different rate for 2 or 3, and another if you're going solo.
Okay, that makes sense. And does that price include everything? The food?
Yes, crucially, it includes the guide, any minor entrance fees if they were ever needed, and all the food you sample. That's stated across all the price tiers.
That's really helpful. No hidden costs for snacks. And meeting point.
Outside the Kadi craft shop in Sowcarpet, the itinerary usually shows a 4:30 p.m. start time.
Okay, so to recap the practical advice from people who've done it, go hungry.
Yeah.
Very hungry.
Definitely number one.
Wear comfy shoes for walking on potentially uneven streets. And maybe bring water for the spice and wipes for the fingers.
Sounds like a solid plan, and overall, people seem to love it. The reviews use words like absolutely, fantastic, amazing, a definite must-try.
Really high praise. It sounds like a standout experience. Now, the sources we had also briefly mentioned other things this company offers, just to give context.
Yeah, just quick mentions. Things like history tours in the surrounding Georgetown area, visits to temples like Santhom Basilica or Ramakrishna Math, maybe part of a Gods of Mylapore theme, or even day trips out of Chennai to places like Mahabalipuram, Kanchipuram, Pondicherry.
Right. So the food walk is one specific offering within a broader range. But our focus today was squarely on that Sowcarpet street food immersion.
And what an immersion it sounds like, just an explosion for the senses.
It really does. Which makes me wonder, thinking about that multi-sensorial overload, the amazing food mix, interacting with locals, navigating that chaos. What sense do you think is most vital for truly connecting with Chennai through this kind of experience? Is it taste, sight, sound, smell?
That's a tough one. They all sound so crucial to the descriptions, don't they? Maybe it's the combination, the way they all hit you at once. It's definitely something for you, the listener, to think about.
Yeah, hard to pick just one. It's that whole sensory package.
Exactly.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive based on these sources. The Sowcarpet Food Street Walk comes across as genuinely authentic, incredibly tasty, a really deep dive into Chennai's atmosphere, all with expert local guides supporting the community and, well, leaving you absolutely stuffed.
Sounds like an unforgettable couple of hours, a real highlight.
Agreed. If you decide to travel to India, we have a recommendation. 5 Senses Tours organizes tours across India which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@fivesensestours.com. Note 5 is written as a numeral in contact@fivesensestours.com, or WhatsApp to +919 845 677 446.